Apparently both of the legendary trios of Unova are quartets now, for better or worse. Orating them all in Tornadus, whatever, is unsurprisingly fantastic in battle. It was the only pure flying type for a very long time, and probably still should be. It's fast, hits very hard, and isn't even bad defensively. Prankster is probably the main argument people will make, but it doesn't really get much in terms of moves to make use of that. But thankfully its move pool as a whole and its TM compatibility is just really good anyway. But I don't know if that's quite enough for 5 stars in battle prowess, honestly, but it's close, 4.5 stars. As for availability, I'll admit I've never actually caught these in game, but apparently Tornadus is available right after defeating the Elite Four, but only in black, and it's roaming, both of which cause a half-star penalty. But it's also just not available at all in the sequels, which averages its score down to just barely 1 star. Though conceptually, Tornadus and Thundurus are based on the Shinto gods, the Kami brothers Fujin and Raijin. Tornadus, of course, being Fujin, I think is how you say it, who is the Kami of the wind. Then there is, of course, the Therian Fomrs, but they're gonna get their own videos. Tornadus could also take inspiration from the Greek god of the cold north wind, Boreas, so I think 5 stars is fair here. But this is a good reason as to why concept and design are separate. The polls aren't too bad, but a lot lower than I expected, and the comments have been brutal so far. And I do get it to an extent. The face is definitely ugly to look at and very strange looking, but to be fair, it looks almost exactly like depictions of Fujin, who carries a bag of winds that I guess translates to Tornadus's spiky purple tail thing. This is one of those cases where the Pokemon as a whole looks pretty cool, but the individual details are rough. This is also very clearly the least favorite of the 3, and I agree, I'll go with 3 stars, which will ground Tornadus' final score to 3.375 stars overall and put it in the Legends bottom 5. I think it's safe to say that the GENIES Therian Fomrs are an improvement across the board. Recording them all, and I mostly mean in design, but at least for Tornadus, it's true for battle prowess as well. It takes a bit from its attack stats and adds to its defense and speed, making it an overall very well balanced Pokemon, which normally isn't actually the better idea, but that's not really the point for Tornadus. It's the fact that it trades out Prankster, which it didn't really have any good moves for anyway, for Regenerator, which is an amazing ability to abuse some U-turn and Tailwind shenanigans on top of its otherwise very good move pool. Its Therian form is just better enough to get to 5 stars, but I do think that it's still very close. As for availability, I'm gonna be honest here, I'm kinda lost, so you guys let me know if I'm missing something, but as far as I can tell, the item that you need to change the Genies into their Therian forms is locked to the sequels, or even the 3DS, where you can't even catch said Genies. So they're just not available at all without cross-platform shenanigans, so 0 stars, I guess? But I do like how the Therian forms of the Genies coincide with what part of the world the gods they are based on rule over. Tornadus obviously being Fujin and the sky, so it's a giant eagle-like bird, which is awesome on its own, but Bulbapedia has it linked to a few different mythological bird figures, though all of them are definitely a little loose. Regardless, 5 stars. And I honestly like its design better than its original form, even though it did poll quite a bit lower in comparison, as well as again being the least favorite. But I still think that it has a cool design as a whole, the big powerful wings, legs, talons, and tail. It looks like a legendary bird for sure, but similarly to its base form, the details are not great. The face again looks messy and unappealing, then there's the random red thing on its lower abdomen, and a bra with actual cleavage apparently? Okay, no, you were right, that's 2.5 stars at best. Which will land Tornadus' Therian form the final score of 3.125 stars overall and a spot on the Legends bottom 5. Thundurus is the coolest of the Genies for sure, and apparently it's also the fan favorite. Boarding them all, and in battle, it's basically the exact same as Tornadus, but just better. It has the exact same stats and the exact same ability, but this time Thundurus actually has some really good level up moves as well as amazing TMs, including priority thunder waves and nice coverage, as well as electric flying just being a much better typing overall. Unlike Tornadus, it will get to 5 stars in battle prowess. And of course, availability is the exact same as Tornadus, found immediately after the Elite Four, but just in white instead of black. But again, it's roaming and a version exclusive on top of just not being available at all in the sequels, which means it'll get the same 1 star. As for concept, it is the brother Raijin to Tornadus' Fujin, this one being the Kami of thunder and lightning. It could also draw inspiration from Nodus, the Greek god of the south winds which brings the summer storms, again 5 stars. But this time I do think that its design is much better. Now yes, they do look extremely similar of course, but for some reason the light blue coloration with the purple accents and the spiky tail and thunderbolt hair cloud things just works better somehow. And I'm not alone in this apparently, as it did poll the highest out of its trio and as the fan favorite surprisingly. It's still not an amazing design by any means, the face is still messy and pretty ugly, but it definitely looks better than Tornadus, 3.5 stars. But that is not enough to save Thundurus from a 3.625 star final score and from the Legends bottom 5. Thundurus' Therian form, in my opinion, is by far the best Genie overall, but can it escape the Legends bottom 5? We're rating them all, and well, in battle, Thundurus did already get 5 stars, though it was close, but its Therian form is arguably better. It drops some speed and attack and dumps it all into that 145 special attack, but it's still plenty fast enough to take advantage of its great offensive move pool full of setup, damage, support, and plenty of TMs for coverage. It does lose Prankster, but that's not really that big of a deal, and Volt Absorb is still pretty nice even with its already great electric flying typing. There's no reason this shouldn't also get 5 stars. But for the ever so popular availability, as we went over with the previous Therian form, it's just not available in the mainline games without cross-generational, cross-console shenanigans. Again, unless I'm missing something, then please let me know, but for now, that's 0 stars. But hey, in concept, I learned something. Tornadus and Landorus obviously take the forms of creatures in the domain that the Kami, the base forms, are based on, rule over, but then what creature dwells in a storm? Well, apparently a dragon, which at the very least is very cool, and of course comes with a host of other possible mythological references or inspirations. Another 5 stars. Design-wise, as I said, this is very clearly the best looking Therian form, period. But it very surprisingly didn't pull well at all on its own, and I'm not really sure why. The cloudy dragon claws look so powerful and mystical. For that matter, this whole Pokemon does. The singular lightning rod horn, the color scheme is incredible, the tail with the spikes that make it look even more imposing. I love this design, and can really only see 2 rather large flaws, admittedly. The dumb mustache that these all have, and again, why did they give them not only bras, but cleavage to go with it? Shame, because otherwise it's an awesome design. 4.5 stars. Which, hey, ties its other form with 3.625 stars overall, and its spot in the Legends bottom 5. If Tornadus and Thundurus are the Shinto Kami brothers, Fusion and Raijin, then what does that make Landorus? We're rating them all, and I know it's not actually next in the decks, but we're gonna do it now anyway. It is pretty undeniably the best of the 3 in battle. Firstly, ground flying is just an incredible type combo, but more so its stats, which are very good. It's a bit slower than the others, but takes those points and puts them into defense, but still hits very hard. Too bad we don't count hidden abilities here, as Sheer Force is amazing, obviously, but even Sand Force has its uses for sure. Stab, Earthquake, or Earth Power in the Sandstorm is going to absolutely demolish most things that don't resist it, but it also gets Swords Dance and Stone Edge, Hammer Arm, and Outrage by level up, not to mention its plethora of great TMs. This is a very obvious 5 stars, but of course its availability is the worst of the 3. Just like the other 2, it isn't available at all in the sequels, but in regular Black and White, you have to have both of the other genies in your party and go to the Abundant Shrine in the post-game, which would be fine if the other ones weren't version exclusives, which means it technically isn't available at all by our rule set, but we'll just give it the trade evolution penalty instead to play nice, but that still only gives it a half a star in availability. But as I asked at the start, where does Landorus fit into this Kami trio? Well, apparently pretty easily, actually. Sure, it's not a third brother, but it is based on another Kami, this one being a deity of fertility and agriculture, as well as drawing inspiration from Eurus, I think is how you say it, the Greek god who brings dry winds and is associated with crops. Alright, cool, 5 stars. But how do we feel about this thing's design? Well, it seems to be the second favorite of the trio and fittingly pulled the second highest, which still wasn't very high. It has the same downsides of the others, mainly being the truthfully really ugly face and mustache, this time topped off with a hammer for a head, I guess. And I'm not even gonna guess what the tail is supposed to look like. I think people really let how strong Landorus is cloud their judgment of its design, because this looks really bad, guys. I think this is the worst of the 3, which is impressive, honestly, because the whole trio is rough. 2.5 stars. So that will bury Landorus with the final score of 3.25 stars overall and a spot in the Legends bottom 5. They really took the already powerful Landorus and said, do it again, but better in every way. We're rating them all, and Landorus' Therian form in battle is just insane. 145 attack while still having 90 in HP, defense, and speed, along with one of the best abilities in the game, Intimidate. Oh, and its ground flying type, which is absolutely incredible on its own. Then you top it off with a truly great level up move pool, and of course, plenty of TMs at its disposal. I mean, come on guys, this is far and away 5 stars in battle prowess. Yet its availability is genuinely some of the worst that I've ever seen. First, it's not available in Black and White 2 at all, and the only way to get it in base Black and White is by catching one of the genies in the post-game, then trading for the other one as it's a version exclusive, which then lets you catch Landorus, but then you have to trade it again to the sequels, but only if you have the Dream Radar on the next generation of DS to get the required item, and I don't know, dude, I never did this garbage to get one Pokemon, so let me know if I'm missing something here, but that's gotta be 0 stars in availability. But thankfully, its concept is still very good. Like the other Therian forms, it transforms into a creature who resides in said domain, this time a tiger, which again has plenty of cultural and mythological references and inspiration Operations, another 5 stars. But design-wise, wow, it pulled by far the highest in its trio, surprisingly. Not to say that it looks bad at all, I just think Thundurus is cooler. Either way though, the cloudy tiger paws look very cool, and now the tail, which still looks super weird, at least looks like a tail. But I still think that its face and weird hammerhead thing look really dumb. It's a cooler Pokemon for sure, and fitting within the trio, but I don't think this is nearly a 5-star design, or even as high as Thundurus, 4 stars. So that will end up giving Landorus' Therian Form 3.5 stars overall, and a spot in the bottom 5, which is now filled with the genies.